situation because this has been really huge. I would say within
Yeah.
the gaming space is probably one of the bigger stories in general. So the original voice actress, Hellena Taylor, she came out and was like, "Here's why I didn't come back for Bayonetta 3," and she has claimed that they were only going to pay her $4,000 for the whole game. So she asked the fans to boycott the game. And obviously that sparked a lot of sort of conversation around the industry about voice actors, not just within gaming, but just in general. So, Damian, when you first saw this video, what was your initial reaction?
So, I mean, I believed her, right? Because I was just like, that sounds pretty shit.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise that voice actors don't get treated very nicely from compared to other mediums, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Regular actors always make way more money than, anyone else in terms of voice acting. And, there's been other stories. I know there was one with the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero dub actors got $100-something to do the whole movie, which is really, really bad. It's kind of why, I don't like to treat dub actors too bad because, most of the time they're either inexperienced or they're just kind of doing it for money. And even then, there's not a lot of money. So it's going to make sense you will get talent that's maybe not as good as you would want. But yeah, I basically believed her for the 4,000 for the whole thing. I'm like, okay, that seems really bad and really low. And obviously it's bad on Platinum and Nintendo for letting this happen. But then I started to not doubt her. But even then, I was like, wait, but they got Jennifer Hale as the new Bayonetta.
Yeah.
And she's one of the top female voice actresses around.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wait, something isn't making sense here. I still I still thought she was in the right, or I still believed her. But I didn't think it was about money anymore. I think maybe they were trying to lowball her intentionally to get rid of her for some reason and get a new voice actress. That what was going on in my head during that first day, because I was like, it wouldn't make sense if they lowballed her and then got a voice actress that's way more prominent in the voice acting sphere. You know what I mean? Jennifer Hale is going to be worth way more than she was, So, mm-hmm. That was kind of what was going through my head during that whole thing. I was still supporting her, but I knew something else was there was more to the story than what was happening here,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously I'm a journalism major to those that don't know. So I learned in school that, there's always different sides of a story. You should always get both sides from sources kind of thing. And that's just in general in life. When you hear someone say something about someone, you should always, if you're that interested, try to, ask the other side of that story to see if it is true or if it is valid. Obviously, sometimes you don't need that other side, and that includes within journalism. So with this story in particular, there's obviously two clear sides of the story. And on that first day, like you said, Damian, I pretty much was in the same vein where I was like, okay, well, I'm excited for Bayonetta 3, but do I buy it now? I was very conflicted sitting in my car waiting to clock in for my work shift after watching that video. I was like, shit, what do I do? Because this game has been announced and really highly anticipated by many people around the world, including myself. And I'm like, well, do I really risk, the whole project? Because this isn't just her that obviously worked on the game. Her voice isn't one of the main reasons why people play the game. But it's definitely a factor in terms of, why people like the character of Bayonetta, and having the efforts of the game developers and everyone else within the team suffer because she was like, oh, I didn't get the pay that I wanted. So I decided to not, take the offer, which is very fair, obviously. So, yeah. And Hideki Kamiya, the executive director, responded, and his response was fucking dog shit, which pretty much reinforced the idea to people that are like, oh my God, yeah, she did only get offered $4,000. This is so bad. So if you guys don't know who Hideki Kamiya is, among Twitter anyways, he's very known for just blocking people.
That's what he does.
That he just doesn't agree with. So when it comes to something like this in particular, obviously the fact that he responded in such a way, the first part of the response was fine, but the other part where it was like, beware of my rules, I was like, what the fuck is he saying right now? So yeah, obviously, he got slaughtered in the quote retweets and shit like that. So, but yeah, obviously there's another side of the story that we'll tackle here in just a bit, but just some other background information. Brian Deckard, he is the person that was Connor in Detroit Become Human, he has come out publicly and said that he was offered $4,000 to voice act in a AAA game, just to show that this does happen to voice actors. You know, like this isn't sort of like a random number or a random thing that Taylor sort of just brought out there. And you know, so obviously people start digging into some other shit about her, and apparently she is very much a Republican conservative kind of viewpoint on things. She commented on a post about Blue Lives Matter, so yeah, a little
she also
sus.
says some weird things about trans people as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a lot of sussy things. Obviously, like, does that really hurt her argument in terms of voice actors being paid better? No, but it does like kind of, you know, make it a little sussy. So that's all I wanted to say, you know, like, yeah. But I feel like this is more after the fact that people start to be like, wait. Mm-hmm. So, but yes, then, you know, Jennifer Hale responded, kinda. Again, no one can really say anything because everyone's under NDA. You know, she didn't care because she just broke the NDA. She didn't really care, so she was just saying all these things about how they only pay her $4,000. But Jennifer Hale is still under NDA. She doesn't really want to break it, and basically she just said that, you know, there's two sides to every story. You know, she respects, you know, obviously she respects voice acting, and she does. Every actor deserves to be paid what they deserve. But you know, she's saying she didn't really know about any of this, about like her situation. And, you know, like you said, she was saying that more people worked on this game than just her. So, like, you should, like, keep that in mind if you're going to boycott the game, or if you're going to buy the game, that, you know, you're also helping everyone else out. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Which is fair. I think that was a pretty fair response, you know, to go against that one. And, you know, when she responded with that, yeah, I didn't know what to think anymore. I was very conflicted the whole time. Because just like you, I'm like, man, am I going to buy this game, or am I going to do what? Like, you know, I don't know if I feel comfortable supporting it, if, you know, Platinum's going to be like that. And, you know, so yeah, I just kind of like left it up in the air. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wait a few days and see what happens. But literally the next day, Jason Schreider made a whole piece on the Bayonetta 3 stuff. And it basically revealed a lot of stuff. So Platinum was actually offering her $3,000 to $4,000 per session, and that was supposed to be over 5 sessions that was supposed to be 4 hours each. So it would have been like 15,000 or like 20K. Like that was sort of like what she was going to get paid, which is a lot different from what she said, which was 4,000 for the whole thing. And apparently this rate is like really generous for voice acting, like it's on the higher end. So it looks like Platinum really did want her back, but she was asking for 6 figures and residuals, and that's when negotiations fell apart. Now, whether you think that was fair, like maybe she should have gotten paid 6 figures and got residuals, you know, I think that's kind of just like, you know, that's more of a conversation. But I feel like if it's a AAA game, then sure. Like Bayonetta is still like a niche franchise in the end of the day. Like I think both games only sold like 1 million copies, so it's not like a big franchise. So I think Platinum offering her that amount of money, which was already higher than the standard rate, I think that sounded pretty fair. Mostly when she doesn't really voice act, she only voice acts Bayonetta, and she mostly does theater. Like I feel like that's a pretty fair rate, at least for this situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. I mean, like if we're talking about like something much bigger, much grandioso kind of thing, like a Naughty Dog game. Like if she was voicing someone within one of those games, even if it was like a minor role, you know, something around this ballpark might not have been as lucrative because you're also doing mocap stuff and shit like that. So like that's like a completely different situation. But you know, Jason Schreider's piece obviously opened it up and was like, oh, okay, so this is sort of like apparently what the other side of the story is, because he obviously has sources within the industry. So $15,000 to $20,000 across 5 sessions for 4 hours each. I mean, like, I think that's pretty fair in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, for 4 hours worth of work, you're getting $3,000 to $4,000 out of your pocket. Like, and since you're a voice actor and that's sort of like what you want to do, in my head, that's sort of like, oh, okay, like, you know, you're sort of just like working with the director and you're just doing your voice acting thing. And like you said, if this is on the much higher end of the spectrum, then her asking for 6 figures in residuals was just her being greedy, in my opinion. Yeah. I think that's just a little insane, especially for Bayonetta. Like you said, like this is still a niche franchise. Like there was a lot of excitement for Bayonetta 3 to come out, but even then, like now that we're getting closer and closer to it, you can still see who the true fans are and who those were when it first got announced, that we're just excited because it was announced, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
This is definitely a franchise that is not on the same level as Mario or Zelda or any other franchise on the Switch, but it's not on the other spectrum of just like lesser known titles, obviously. So, you know, her being offered that much, I think, was fair. And obviously Taylor is doubling down and being like, hey, you know, that's a lie, that's bullshit. So I don't know what's exactly going to come out of that, but
I definitely feel like now the burden of proof is on her because, you know, she said the thing, which is fine. I think most people are like, oh, yeah, that's pretty shit. But now that Platinum said this, and, you know, Jason Schreier is very, like, you know, he's really reputable. You know, he has a bunch of sources. He's never really been wrong in a lot of things. You know, I'm going to choose to believe him just because of his reputation and stuff over her, unless she could provide hard evidence. I mean, she clearly didn't care about the NDA to begin with. So at this point, she should bring up anything she has, but she hasn't. And basically she says some other quote, which is like, I would just want to put this whole franchise behind me and stuff. So it sounds like she kind of just doesn't care now. She's just going to leave. So I don't know. To me, it just this seems like she was just trying to milk this series for what it was and like just leave with a bunch of money. So she doesn't voice act like anything else besides this character. So since it was the third game and like it's long awaited and stuff, maybe she thought she could get a little greedy and get more money out of it. And you know, that didn't work, and now she made the whole shit show. But you know, regardless of her and Platinum and stuff, I think a lot of people could come away with this being like, you know, voice actors should get paid more regardless. Like, you know, there should be better stuff implemented. Like the union definitely helps a lot. Like a lot of voice actors are in the union now. But, you know, obviously, you know, we should be fighting for more better rights for these guys and to get paid more. You know, getting paid like $100 for like a whole movie, like that's awful. You know what I'm saying? Like even if it's a dub voice actor, like that seems like insane to me that they would even consider that a fair rate. But yeah, overall, you know, this whole situation has been very messy. I'm pretty sure we might see more of this once the NDAs are gone, and we're gonna see more evidence either against or for like her or Platinum. But as of right now, I guess I'll buy the game. I don't feel too bad anymore. So there you go. Mostly because I feel like if they put this story out, like she should have responded like immediately, but she didn't. She's kind of just like, whatever. So that
I think like if she was gonna break the NDA and like sort of just show everything and sort of just like say all of these things across like the multiple videos, because in the other video she was saying on how like she was suffering like depression and, you know, she's broke as hell and shit like that. So I'm like, all right, you know, like that sucks. She's trying to like have the internet sort of sympathize with her even more past that first video, because I feel like most people just watch the first video and then in the thread the other videos no one really watched. So, you know, I think that first video has like over 100, or not 100, over like 10 million views.
Yeah, it has like 10 million.
Yeah, I think I haven't checked in a while. Yeah, it has fucking almost 10 mil, which is crazy.
I don't think it's gonna hurt the game though. Like apparently it went even higher on the sales charts. So I guess that didn't really work out too well.
That is fucking crazy.
But yeah, even then I probably would have been more hesitant to buy the game. But now I'm just like, well, okay, I guess that all that was not really a thing. So
yeah,
whatever.
Because like if she's gonna break the NDA, shouldn't she have like receipts or like the contracts or anything that sort of you know shown the sort of insulting offer that she was offered, kind of thing. But you know, she obviously doesn't have those receipts, and I'm sure that once this all blows over, once the NDAs are up, more stories are going to come out, more sides of this sort of situation are going to come to light. And Hellena Taylor, she probably doesn't have a future in voice acting for gaming or voice acting in general. So
I'm just surprised. Like, could you get sued for this? Like, I feel like
defamation kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer, but I would hope so, because this it's like a pretty damaging story, all things considered.
Especially if it's not like even true. Like if it was true, then you know, you can't really sue her. But like the fact that she just straight up lied, at least for now, like, you know, I again, you know, maybe 2 weeks from now, maybe it'll be a different story. But as of right now, I do feel like I feel like Platinum could just be like, we're gonna sue you now. So
Yeah, I mean, like, she said the whole game instead of, like, sessions or whatever. So,
Yeah.
once we know the full story and the whole truth, there's not much that obviously we can do. We're just fucking two idiots on the internet talking about this.
Basically, yeah.
But yeah, obviously, I'm still gonna buy the game, hopefully, and play it because I love Bayonetta. And honestly, I had no idea that they even replaced the old voice actress. I had no idea that Taylor was replaced to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. Platinum did respond to this controversy, but it was very much like,
Don't
yeah, it
harass.
happened.
Yeah. Don't harass Jennifer Hale,
Yeah.
please. And that's about
'Cause
it.
she just took the job. So she was like,
Yeah.
15 to 20K by the end of this shit. That's not bad, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe she got a little bit more because of her name brand, but obviously only time will tell when the truth comes. So.
Yep. We just gotta wait for that.